Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to The Real for Real. Hey, we're here today and we're going to finish up our top 10 videos here. So this is our part 2.
Part 2.
And we're going to be looking at Kevin's top 10 movies this time through. Man, I'm excited for it. I'm hoping you're ready. Like,
the question is, can you guess by the posters in here?
You know, like part of me wants to say that it's definitely got to be like a poster on the wall. Like a couple of these are going to pop up, but I'm not 100% certain.
Not 100% though, huh?
Like it's crazy. I know you a long time. But at the same time, I feel like you're going to shock me with some stuff that you got on this list.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I feel like I may shock you on a couple, man. So this was a very hard list to put together.
I imagine.
But I have to go based off of what I can rewatch over and over,
okay,
and what I find to be just great films. And so my number 10 is going to be.
Oh, he said, I'm ready.
Look, I'm starting. Hey, I'm coming with it. I'm coming with it. It's boom. I'm coming. Number 10, Stanley Kubrick's 1971, A Clockwork Orange. I'm going with that, bro. I'm going with that. Look, this movie with the Me Too movement going on probably does not age well right now, but I think that this movie is a piece of art. Kubrick, I think, honestly, this is my favorite film from him. I know a lot of people will be shocked by that, but this is, and he's done a lot of great movies, man. I'm a Kubrick fan, but man, you just got to look at this movie, man, and I want us to talk about it for a minute because I don't want to just sit up here and make this conference where I'm talking about things, and I wanted to make this open dialogue.
You 100%.
So let's think about this for a second. All right, so you have Alex and the Droogs, right?
Yeah.
Because you've seen Clockwork Orange.
Oh, I've definitely seen it. It was close to making my list, to be honest.
Yeah,
so.
Clockwork Orange. And so you have Alex, and you're trying to figure out what is Alex's deal, right? Because Alex and the Droogs are committing crazy crimes, right? They're over here committing sexual assault, they're taking drugs, they're robbing people, beating people. Mm-hmm. And so the sexual assault part, I was trying to figure it out. Okay, so you know that he doesn't have a problem getting women because he sleeps with somebody in the movie. I don't know if you remember that. See, Clockwork Orange is one of those movies where you actually have to watch it.
Yeah, because there's a scene in the
there's a scene where it's going really fast over and over.
You're absolutely
so
right.
it's like, what is? So it's just he's just getting pleasure off of just doing crazy things. And, and bro, and think about it. Like when you go back and you look at it, and the priest goes to visit him, and they're sitting down in a room talking, and the priest is kind of getting close to him and kind of touching him a little bit. I'm like, man, is this behavior that's being passed down to him? Or is it? So there's so many ways to interpret this movie,
and that's the I'm glad to hear that this is on your list. Like I'm glad that it made one of ours because it took a little bit, but I was like, I love that movie, but I don't go back to it.
Go back to it,
and that was tough for me because I was like, not between the one I picked. I was like, I was going to shine it, but bro, like it's true. I always wondered like. Until we get to the end when he's finally captured and held, accountable for his issue. I'm like, but the whole time you're wondering, what is his deal? Like,
what is his deal? What is his deal?
And I think he's a sheerly pleasure-seeking person. Like that's all he does. What seems to work for him. But then you're right about the little nuances. I forgot all about the closeness.
And so the biggest theme of this movie to me, I think I'd have to go with freedom of choice versus order in society. Yeah. And so it's like, man, like what the government did to him with this experiment where if he commits any kind of sin, whether it's looking at a woman, whether it's thinking about saying something to somebody, any kind of sin he's about to do, he ends up getting really sick, right? So I think Kubrick does a really good job of writing this character that we can't stand. Like we hate this character. And then towards the third act of the film, you feel sorry for him.
Oh, you definitely. Yeah. Even as I watched it, I was like,
dang, like you end up feeling sorry for him.
I'm like, you deserve it? Like
that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, there's just a lot with this movie, man. So, and I think this movie, you will never look at that song "Singing in the Rain" the same again.
No. And I done did performances of it and musical theater stuff.
So Clockwork Orange for me, man. I just think his character was just so well written. It's a really good movie. I think the score is really good for this movie. I think it's really bright with the colors, and it just looks good. The cinematography's on point.
I mean,
I think it's
Kubrick. So
Kubrick he does his thing
behind the camera. He handles business.
Number 9, I actually have a comic book movie on mine, but you know who my favorite superhero is, though.
This is true.
So which Batman movie you think I'm going with?
So if I know anything about you, this has got to be one of the Tim Burtons. I would think, because you love that 80s. You love that 80s.
Well, I guess that. Yeah, I guess that.
So I would say either. I would probably say Batman. Actually, the original Batman. I'm gonna go with that one with Jack.
Well, you're wrong. I'm going with Dark Knight 2008. Nolan. All right. So this was hard for me because I was thinking, okay, Dark Knight 2008. Of course, I was thinking that or either Batman Returns 1992, Tim Burton. Like, I love Batman Returns. That movie is. Man, it's got a ghoulish feel. It's great. Like I really like that movie a lot.
Tim Burton, I think,
like Tim Burton did a really
is
good
the
job.
person who needs to design the Batman world.
Yes. So I'm gonna go with Dark Knight though, and it just was so refreshing to have Nolan take over the Dark Knight series when we got Batman Begins, which I think is super underrated and was slept on when it came out.
True.
And then we got Dark Knight, and this just is, he does a really good job of taking this comic book movie and making it the real world, right?
Yeah.
I think this is by far the best comic book movie I've ever seen. I think this movie is flawless. I think that the camera shots with the IMAX cameras that they use, this was probably the best looking movie that we got of the decade. From 2000 to 2010, like this was the best looking movie. No, this was the best.
No, I mean,
this movie is actually, it's not no comic book movie. This is a crime drama.
No, it's straight.
This is a crime drama.
Yes.
Like Heath Ledger's performance, phenomenal.
Good.
Everybody does a good job. And so I had to put The Dark Knight at number 9. I wanted to put Batman Returns, but that wouldn't have.
Like I said, I told you. I knew I was sitting in the right realm when I was talking to Tim Burton. I'm like,
look, I wanted to do it, man. And I'm looking at the cast right now, bro. This cast is a tour de force performance of Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, Michelle Pfeiffer. I love Batman Returns, bro. The costume design was on point for that movie.
Yes, like I was about to say, the way Danny DeVito transforms completely.
That is his best performance. I've seen probably every Danny DeVito movie. That's his best performance. Honestly.
It is.
Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. I love you, Halle Berry, but she kicked your butt as far as the best Catwoman.
Boy, don't bring up that Halle Berry.
Now
I'm
that
sorry,
movie was,
we love you for sure,
but Dark Knight, bro, this is a complex plot, great acting, top action set pieces. This is just everything that you want. So I think it's flawless.
And it's funny you mentioned even the Batman Begins being slept on.
Oh, Batman Begins!
I was one of those who slept on it. Like I was like,
oh, you didn't watch it when it first came out? You didn't go to the movies to go see it?
I remember being young and I was like,
man,
Christian Bale. Pass. Like I was like. Now, granted, I'm like, maybe 13, 14. I don't know. I ain't got no freaking clue
bro.
Anything about Christian Bale, but I was like.
But see, I've always just been a Batman fan. Like, Batman has always been my go-to, like, always. Like, and like I said, it's just so refreshing that Nolan took this over, knowing that Joel Schumacher really just ruined Batman and made it campy. And marketed this for kids and toys and stuff. Like, Batman and Robin is probably the worst superhero movie to ever come out.
You couldn't have told 12-year-old me that.
Well,
or sorry, 10, however age I was.
However old we were younger. We were like 8 or 9
and
or something.
I think that's why whenever I saw the reboot,
like 7 or 8. That movie.
When I saw Batman Begins, I was like, I don't need that. I got Mr. Freeze, and it was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And as much as we like Batman Forever, bro, it's just they made Batman into a joke. It just was
a little too comical.
Joel Schumacher just was not the person to do Batman. That was just a really.
I think it fit for the 90s era TV. Like 90s era.
We're gonna have a Batman discussion because I got a lot of things to say about that. But let me go number.
If we're gonna tear into those, let's do it. We might look for that one.
Let me go number 8 on my list. I'm gonna go with a Scorsese film, 1976, Taxi Driver.
Okay.
So, Taxi Driver, I know you don't really care for it as much, but I think when you're talking about Robert De Niro movies and his best performances, I think that it's this one and Raging Bull as far as showing his range on how good he is. This movie really does it, man. So I just think that you're trying to figure out what is wrong with this guy because they don't really ever say it. We know that he fought in Vietnam. He's a Vietnam vet, but he just comes off as this person that he can't sleep, right? And he's just working late nights, taxi driving, and he's really trying to just get rid of the filth of New York City.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting, like when you really look at this movie, that's why I think you need to watch it as an adult. I don't know, when's the last time you saw Taxi Driver? Like, has it been a long time?
I probably was definitely teenage years.
Yeah, I think you need to watch it as an adult because then you'll start to
I want to say maybe at the oldest 17, youngest would have been 14.
Oh man,
15.
no. This you got to watch as you got to watch this with the intellect that you have now, so you can really understand.
That's fair.
Because I think this is the best character study that Scorsese's ever done. And I think I think a lot of people will probably say Wolf of Wall Street for Jordan Belfort's character.
That one's good.
But that's a biopic, and this one is a fictional character. I think this is the best, and I think, like, think about it this way. So he's suffering from what you call I guess it's the Madonna horror complex.
Oh.
And so,
boy, hit me with the. Let me go grab the.
Oh yeah. No,
grab the SET.
Oh, the Madonna horror or goddess horror complex. But basically, he can't achieve intimacy in a loving relationship, and so he sees women as either queens or whores, right? And so what's interesting is queens or whores. He ends up dating Betsy, which is somebody who is a good-looking woman who works for a political campaign. What does he do? He messes that up and takes her to a adult film. Do you remember that? He takes her to an adult film, and he ruins that. So he doesn't really have good social cues. He can't really understand. And then let's look at.
Yeah, I definitely got to watch this again.
Right? Yeah, you're gonna have to watch this as an adult, bro.
I was like, what?
And then you have a young Jodie Foster who plays the young prostitute. Harvey Keitel's the pimp, and so that's why I say the Madonna horror complex or whatever, because he's trying to, at the end of the day, save this young prostitute from oppression, right?
Yeah.
So he's trying to save these women from oppression because he thinks that this political figure, he wants to assassinate this character. Do you remember that when he tries to? That's where we get that.
Like, as you're telling me that, I'm like, I don't remember most.
I've got it. Come on, man.
I'm gonna have to check this out.
Taxi Driver is a top 10. This is a great movie, man. And so when he tries to,
I remember little pieces.
Bro, this is where we get that. You talking to me?
Yeah.
You
and
talking to me? Like he was practicing.
I know this
for
is there for when he approached. But
bro, so you have this taxi driver that's suffering from insomnia, disgusted by the streets of NYC. And he's just really, like, his mental state is just getting worse in this movie. Like, he's getting crazier and crazier and crazier in this movie. We don't exactly know what his problem is, but it's crazy. So he plays a character named Travis Bickle, and man, it's great, bro.
I don't know why I can't remember any of this movie. Like, I must have been like 15 to 17 and just going like, born and just like walked or like cooking in the kitchen while
he is basically a societal reject.
Yeah,
right? He doesn't have any friends in this movie, and he's also a walking contradiction. Like, I'm trying to remember, like, he's trying to clean the streets of New York because he thinks it's filthy, but at the same time he's driving up and watching adult films all the time.
Yeah.
So
he's the grime he's trying to get rid of,
basically. And so he's talking about he has a good diet, but then he pours liquor in his food and he pops pills.
Yeah,
he's just a walking contradiction.
You're 100% right. Like, the mind I have now would probably eat this movie up. I don't know what I was doing back then, bro. I don't know. Because it clearly left no marks back then.
I think this movie hits hard on the themes of loneliness and detachment and mental health, man.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And actually, a fun fact for this movie, there was a guy named John Hinckley. When Reagan was president, apparently this John Hinckley guy was influenced by this movie, and he tried to assassinate Reagan. And so he tried to be the Travis Bickle, and they said his motivation was to save Jodie Foster from this president. So, hey, this movie, bro, you got to watch it. Don't worry, I got it on Blu-ray. What's up? We'll watch it.
I think this is gonna be one of them.
We'll watch it.
I'm gonna be over here for something like to shoot a video, and then we're gonna be like, oh dang, now I gotta watch it.
Now you gotta watch it. I'm gonna trap you. I'm like, here it is, Taxi Driver. My number 7, man, I gotta go with Enter the Dragon, 1973 film. I gotta do this movie, man. This is a Hong Kong and American production. This was the most profitable movie of that time and that era. And I think the reason why I respect this movie so much, man, is that this is the first minority action hero. This is the movie that did it for Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
He was the first minority action hero. Think about that. This movie grossed $350 million, which is basically the equivalent of $1 billion for back then. And this movie just was amazing. And I'm a Bruce Lee fan. I've watched Fist of Fury, Chinese Connection.
I got all
like this. But this one is the one that really put him on the map as being the person that broke down these racial barriers and being the first minority action hero. And this
Bruce
was
is the GOAT.
Bruce is
the GOAT.
Hey, you got Jim Kelly in here, so he had a sidekick as well. A black martial artist, Jim Kelly.
He like even the playing field. He had a black guy there with him, a white guy. Like I was like,
man, this was good, man. This was good. And Jim Kelly's like, man, you look like you come straight out of a comic book.
That boy,
Bruce Lee, boards don't hit back. He's on the boards don't hit back. Boy, like this movie's got quotables too, man. I think Enter the Dragon. If you're talking about martial arts movies, this is the one.
Yeah.
Like this is definitely like if you like martial arts movies and you haven't watched this, definitely watch this movie. So that's what I got on my number 7.
That's for certain. That was a jam.
Yeah.
That's a solid jam.
How my list looking so far? Is all right?
Oh yeah, so far we there.
All right. Number 6 is gonna surprise you. It may not. Bad Boys 2 I got on my list, bro. Bad Boys 2 I have on my list, man.
Bad Boys 2
I have on my list. Not number 1, no. I think so. Okay. Bad Boys 2. All right, so I love number 1, right? Number 1's good. Number 1's 2, but I think for Will and Martin, I think this one was the funniest. I think this one their chemistry was really on point with this one. I think that they definitely upped the ante as far as the action goes.
You know what? Everything you saying, I can vouch with. You are absolutely right. It's the funniest.
And I know the critics love Bad Boys for Life, but that's not the best one. I'm sorry. And I need to say something about this for these critics out here.
Please, because I'm about to say if you don't, I'm coming. I need to say something for
this. How are you gonna give an aggregated score of 90-something% for Bad Boys for Life and then give this movie a 23%? That is disrespectful. And I'll tell you what part of it is. Michael Bay, they hate Michael Bay. They hate everything that Michael Bay stands for. I read some of the comments. They're talking about this movie is just super violent, doesn't make sense, it's overstuffed, yada, yada, yada. No, that doesn't mean this movie has to have 23%. And this movie does make sense.
Makes total sense.
What's wrong with but you know what the problem is? They hate Michael Bay. They said Michael Bay makes movies for teenage boys. That's what they say about Michael Bay. And
then I guess I got to age backwards. I vibe with Bad Boys.
Bad Boys 2 is legit,
I vibe with the whole thing. Yeah. But clearly, I can see you're absolutely right.
I love Bad Boys 2.
Everything comes up a level from the first one.
Bad Boys 2 is legit. Think about all these, bro. Think about when they get into it with the Jamaicans, bro.
Oh yeah.
That is.
Well, they in the devil is not welcome here. Like what?
Bro, the beginning scene was great, man. The shootout there, this is a lot of action in this movie, and it's very tightly paced. And I feel like the storyline is dope, especially with his sister coming in and Mike Lowry's dating the sister. Like, come on, bro.
It is just good. It is just good.
It's just a good movie. It's just a good movie. It's just good. I can rewatch it anytime. So
no. I was shocked, yes, but when you started explaining it, I was like, no, you're right. It's definitely better than number 3.
I think it's one of my favorite cop buddy movies. Like I was thinking about putting Lethal Weapon in there, but I'm like, which one do I go to?
I love time?
Like, I was thinking about putting Lethal Weapon number 1, but I was like, ooh, which one do I go to the most though? But
that's fair.
I put it in. I love Martin and Will, so I had to do it, man.
They do have good chemistry together. That's for certain.
My number 5 is 1993 film with Harrison Ford. Can you guess what it is? Can you guess what it is? Oh, by the way, he's laughing because Harrison Ford is one of my favorite actors.
My dude, so he's laughing. My dude love him some Harrison.
Hey, but I only got one movie of Harrison on here, so
really
in my top 10.
Oh yeah, I guess I can't talk noise. Mine was double stacked.
Exactly.
I'm gonna guess The Fugitive for you.
Ooh, he knew it. The Fugitive, 1993.
I was like, it's got to be The Fugitive, and that is a good one. So I can't.
Do I need to really even explain? I just think that this is just one of the best cat and mouse movies that's ever been invented. I think this is great. The use of practical effects in this movie is good. This movie, if you're not familiar with The Fugitive, this was starring Harrison Ford, and it's based off the 1960s TV series.
And
Tommy Lee Jones won Best Supporting Actor for this movie.
I don't care.
That's what I was just about to say. Yeah, that's a really good scene. And I think the reason and the fact that he was just so bad, like so dope in this movie and so cool in this movie, Tommy Lee Jones, they gave them a spinoff to do U.S. Marshals.
U.S. Marshals right after it.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that scene. That I don't care, because he's like, I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. The fact that this man is holding a gun to you. Did he hold a gun to him on that scene? I can't remember if he did.
I know that's right before he gets ready to jump.
I think correct? He did. I think he did hold the gun into him and say, "I didn't kill my wife." He said, "I don't care." Yeah. But the fact that he said, "I don't care," like I'm just here to do my job.
Yeah,
basically, that's how you know. Like
I got one purpose.
Gangster, right?
You can explain this to somebody else.
Tommy Lee Jones be playing the same character though.
Oh, he do.
Yeah, but I love the Fugitive, bro.
That man is a Texas Ranger / U.S. Marshal. He's just a cop in everything.
Oh man. And this movie is just iconic, man. Everybody always used to make jokes of the one-armed man killed his wife, like. But it was he had the prosthetic arm, man. It was just a solid story. There's been a parody on this movie as well, Wrongfully Accused, with Leslie Nielsen.
Shout out to Leslie Nielsen.
Shout out to Leslie Nielsen for that movie, bro.
He was great.
And Richard Kimball, you just gotta you end up like just instantly loving this character, man, because as he's on the run in this movie, he's helping people as well. Like even when the bus flips and it's crashing and burning, like he's helping people get out. He's helping police officers get out. Now
making a case for himself.
Yeah, right.
Making a case for him. That boy was small.
Right. That's how you do it. So that's on my number 5. Number 4, I'm going with. I'm surprised you didn't have this on your list, bro. I got to go with The Matrix. The Matrix is on my number 4, bro.
I should have.
The Matrix is just.
I want to redo.
No, I mean, I think the Wachowskis did a great job with this movie. It's a philosophical movie with some of the best special effects I've ever seen on film.
They set almost a standard for a solid decade of like slow motion shots in everything.
Yes. Even Shrek did it.
It wasn't even just action. It was like action movies did slow motion, scary movies did slow motion, like comedies did
everything.
Everybody had
everything, bro. Everything.
TV shows, like what?
Everything. And I just think it was such a smart concept. Like the fact that the Matrix is this fake reality that you can be unplugged from at any time. Like, that's just a really smart concept, I think. I just think that, I mean, come on, bro. Come on. I know you got some things you like about this. Like,
no.
The Matrix is red pill, blue pill, man. Like, this is...
Oh, you talk about quotable lines and stuff like that, or memorable
Morpheus, man. This is my favorite Lawrence Fishburne movie, bro. He is Morpheus. This is Morpheus.
Like, low-key, like, prior to that, I'd seen him in other movies.
Yeah. But you rock with him as Morpheus.
The first movie that comes to mind
is going to be Morpheus.
Is Morpheus. It's always Matrix when it comes to Lawrence Fishburne. Keanu Reeves, too. Like, it defined... I remember being in high school and listening to people talk about, like, how Keanu Reeves is a bad actor and this, that, and the other. And I remember... You know, when you friends with people, you're not trying to rub nobody the wrong way a little bit back in those... So I'm like, I'm laughing along with it. And then I think to myself... But that's the dude from the... No, bro.
So what can we say? Can we say he's a bad, good actor?
Nah, I mean...
No, I think he's good.
I
think that some of these roles are written for him.
Yeah.
Like when... Like John Wick. Like that's like written... Like as you're writing this movie, you're thinking of him in mind.
And speaking of Wick, there is no Wick had The Matrix not come on. Like...
Yeah.
The Matrix did for I'd say Keanu... what Taken has done for Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
It's just
Will, you a fool for passing up on this and doing Wild Wild West, bro. Like, Will, I love you, but hey, he said the Wachowskis, they were just selling it to him like, oh, it's gonna be really cool. Yeah, it's cool. Like he said, like they pitching, like their pitching was just bad. But hey, you should have just gone with the risk, bro. Like you did iRobot. Like you'll take it. Well, you was taking anything. Stop.
Yeah, you took. Well, like, iRobot ain't terrible.
No, iRobot's not bad. But I'm like,
Wild Wild West on the other hand, though.
No, I'm just saying, like, but you've been doing sci-fi movies, like. He doesn't like you should have just done a sci-fi. Like it was 1999, dude. You could have done it.
He could have. He could have. It would have been no problems at all.
That's okay. I'm not gonna get on him. And also just the fact that the Matrix is this like artificial system, right? So I think that was a smart way of the Wachowskis of helping them bend the rules on how you can do things. Like, oh, you can jump this way. You can jump from building to building.
Yeah.
You can lean back and dodge these bullets this way. Like it's just a really good way to bend the rules. And if you ever like happen to just Google and like read the script for this movie, the way they wrote this and how descriptive they are in their details of writing this, bro, do it.
It's easily one of the greatest movies of the past.
For sure. I was surprised that wasn't on your list, bro. But I was like,
100 years. Okay. You were absolutely right.
But you got Tenet on there. You got Inception, so it's whatever.
Hey, and both of those are definitely in the same.
Yeah. I'm going to go with number 3, a 1991 film called Silence of the Lambs, which is what you had on yours. That's in my top 3, bro. This movie is everything, bro. Like I think from like when you're looking at like Hannibal Lecter, he is a mix of a sophisticated gentleman to a mix of just this crazy, like he will eat you person.
Yeah,
like that dynamic is insane in his range in this movie, because like I remember when watching this movie and I'm watching Clarice walk in this prison and you see all these crazy guards and somebody throws something at her. I ain't gonna say what it is, but somebody throws something at her. Yeah. And she's walking.
Oh boy.
And I'm just over here thinking I'm gonna see this insane Anthony Hopkins character that's gonna be sticking his tongue out nose. And he's just this suave character, like just sophisticated, very well articulate.
Yep.
And dives into her mind and is like manipulating her. Like, bro, it's wow. I was surprised, man. It was good.
Like I said, even in mine.
He already said, He already said it, but I think this movie is, when you're thinking, I think this is the best psychological thriller I've ever seen. I love this movie. Everything about it's great. I think that Clarice / Jodie Foster, she ends up just being an underdog that you're really rooting for. She's one of the only female characters in her department, and so you're just really rooting for her to do well in this movie.
Yeah, like in the movie, like, and it also manages to tackle like social things, like for instance the fact that she's like the only lady in a boys club field, like they play up that, like little, all these little.
I think this movie is in on everything, bro. And then, come on, man, you got to think about the scene where he's beating the guard and that music is playing. He's just.
Heck, and the funniest thing about it is like the foreshadowing for that.
Oh yeah.
When they say whenever she, like when he's going down the when Clarice is first going down there, they explain the rules, and he tries to explain to her, like, because the doctor was already being kind of a bit of a tool.
Yeah.
And he's like, the last time somebody did this, that, and the other to him, he had knocked it within an inch of his life, and his heart rate never jumped. So you get that little foreshadowing there, and at the end when you watch him,
that was, whew.
Like
that's my favorite scene.
That's
in the movie,
the scariest part, bro. Is the way he's just like exhaling.
He looks relaxed when he's doing it. He is relaxed when he's doing it.
I was like, shoot, bro. Like, I was like, this is
great movie, bro.
And then
great
you come
movie,
back
man.
and he's done prop the body up.
Oh man, great movie with the intestines hanging out.
I was like, this is crazy.
Number 2, I got to go with Goodfellas, man. Goodfellas. I got another Scorsese film in here. I don't think you can go wrong with being in favor of Goodfellas or being in favor of Godfather. I think I love Godfather just as much as anybody else, but I think Goodfellas speaks to me a lot. If you were to ask me, what am I going to watch over and over and over again, I think this is the one. This is the one. It's just the pacing for this movie is great. One of our best friends, Trevor, like, he is not a Mafia fan, and we told him, bro, watch Goodfellas.
Gotta watch it.
Watch this movie on the plane, bro, and you're going to fall in love with this movie. He watched it, and he's like, Goodfellas, like, I'm with y'all. I see why.
It's a good movie.
Like, you see why Ray Liotta becomes Ray Liotta at the end of the day. Like, it was dope, man.
I think
Goodfellas is
that's
everything.
another of those roles that just
phenomenal acting
puts him in like that, where people become icons based off of that.
A
lot of his roles, I think, come because of what he did in that film.
This is a vivid picture of how ugly the Mafia can be, man. Like, I think before this, like, I think the Mafia was kind of glamorized in a way. This movie takes these characters and show you how tough it really is. Like, hey, somebody thinks they're about to be made? Nope.
Yeah.
Like,
I love the like learning about the internal conflict piece thing. He's only like, as much as we love Joe Pesci's character at that point, at least I did. I thought he was fun and he's charismatic and this, that, and the other. But you know that he's a hothead, and so we knew. You always knew that he's gonna be the one who breaks protocol. And when he does, and he gets shot instead of made, because it's like, we had to offer somebody up. We just got rid of a made person, so we got to offer somebody up.
Oh man,
it's just business. Like,
I think Scorsese does a really good job of just making your ordinary everyday surroundings look more entertaining than it is.
No. Yeah, everything about that one is that. You're right. That movie is really. I think
Goodfellas is perfection.
Ever since I could remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. Like when it starts in the beginning, you're like, what?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. My number 1, you already know I'm a Tarantino fan, so what am I going to go with? Pulp Fiction. I'm going Pulp Fiction number 1. I think Pulp Fiction.
It is solid.
Pulp Fiction. Yeah, you could put it as crime drama, but I think this movie is its own genre. This is a very unique movie.
Yeah.
You have multiple storylines going on that you're trying to put together, and I think it's gonna take you a minute. Like, you definitely have to watch this movie more than once. I think
it's one to
definitely place everything together. And there's gonna be little things you miss too. But man, come on.
I agree.
Bro.
The first time I watched it, I couldn't even piece the story together.
Yeah.
And granted, I was pretty young, but for some reason, I couldn't piece the story together the first time.
Yeah.
Had to watch it a second, and then I was like it's definitely his most creative, I feel like, work, period.
And I just like how all the characters are related to each other too. Like, you have Jules and Vince, right? Which is Samuel and John Travolta. They are the hitmen for Marcellus, which is Vin Rames.
Yep.
And then you have Vin Rames, which is Marcellus, who is married to Mia, Uma Thurman. And so Uma Thurman, which is Mia, and Vince end up connecting as well.
Yep.
So and then we have Bruce Willis's character as well, who used to work for Marcellus.
Is in trouble with Marcellus.
Is in trouble with Marcellus.
Saves him to square his
own life.
Like
yeah.
And that's what
bring out the GIMP.
Oh boy, what it was just so
GIMP,
crazy.
Like, when the GIMP comes out, you like, whoa, hold on.
I was like, this is all way extra for me. But then player comes in with that samurai. I was
the samurai. I think this is just one of the most unique movies I've ever seen, man, especially for this type of genre. And I think this is what made me a Tarantino fan.
It's crazy. When you said it, I was like, I don't have Tarantino on my list.
I'm surprised, actually.
Yeah, no, I was surprised.
I was listening to it. I was waiting on it. I was like, where's Tarantino?
I do not.
I could have sworn I was going to hear Hateful Eight or Django or something, but
no. If I was going to put one, it would have probably been
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction,
yeah,
because that's the one that.
Bro, this is just.
I love that he generally tells non sequitur stories.
Yeah,
that it's all out of sequence. But I also am a big fan. Like, it would have either been this one or Jackie Brown.
Oh, I
really like Jackie Brown.
I love Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown works out really well. Like, and so,
Jackie Brown
but hands down, like, Tarantino. Why did I?
Come on, man. Jules and Ezekiel. Oh man. Ezekiel,
and I will strike thee, boy,
with great vengeance,
man. Like,
man, and the fact that this movie is it's very heavy dialogue. But it's little action. It's action,
not as much as you,
but it's
not as much as you believe there's supposed to be.
The fact that Tarantino was able to drive this movie with just dialogue, little bit of action, but when the action comes, it's like, oh snap!
Yeah,
and then also being able to humanize these characters as well, like Jules and Vince, being able to they're having a regular conversation. Bro, they're talking about a Royale with cheese, bro.
What?
Like these.
Well, and not to mention just even there's like an existential conversation between Jules and Vince at one point too about almost like, what is life? And what I was like, it's really funny how he tells these stories.
Oh man, bro. That's when I knew. I was like, he is a great storyteller. Reservoir Dogs was really good too, but
it is.
But I think his storytelling on this one, I was like, whoa.
Pulp Fiction is the one.
This is the one that made Tarantino. So
that one's good.
I got a lot of respect for this movie.
The multiple storylines. That's why I think that one works, because it's not only out of sequence, but it's also multiple actual story. A lot of times, like Hateful Eight, there's other storylines, but it's disjunct, but it's not as.
Pulp Fiction is one of the most unique movies ever. People, if you haven't seen it, watch that movie. If it's been a long time and you kind of forgot a little bit, go back and watch it out.
Yeah.
But that is
I ain't gonna lie, your list is solid.
My list is solid though. Anything surprise you?
I mean,
Taxi Driver surprise you?
No, Taxi Driver does not. We didn't have so many discussions.
I've been trying to sell him on watching Taxi Driver. Just watch it, bro.
But I'm telling you, clearly it left no marks back in the day, because I've been adamant. But now you're talking about, I'm like, I should probably pick that up again. But
I think you should. Yeah.
Seeing Bad Boys on the list was surprising. Definitely seeing that on there. Seeing The Dark Knight on the list. It's a good, super good movie.
Yeah.
But in my head, I just don't think of. I am a Batman
fan. I am a Batman.
So that makes sense.
So yes, I gotta have.
But no, most of them sitting in the place where I imagine they would be. I definitely all right. At least they come to mind when I think about you. So I'm like, okay, that's fair. Right. That's fair. Not bad, folks. Well, put it in the comments. See what you think of Kevin's top 10. Also, make sure you subscribe and press the bell. Till next time, though. Catch y'all later.